Hey guys, this is Nick from Woodencraft. In this video I'll be making a bar top with a herringbone pattern made out of walnut. Now, I've never made a top in herringbone before, so you're gonna see me struggle a bit to get this right. I'm starting out with some other offcuts and laying out the herringbone pattern. This way I know exactly how long my walnut pieces need to be. So this is the very first time for me making a video like this. And to be honest with you, it feels kind of weird sitting behind my computer with a phone in my hand recording some audio. And I can't deny that I'm kind of nervous about the whole thing. But hey, this is new. Just like this herringbone design is to me, so let's just go with it. Because I feel that in the end, this might end up doing some good to the video. So as I'm on my way machining every walnut to its right size and prepared to put a herringbone pattern together in walnut for the first time, you enjoy. After cutting all pieces, I've laid them out in a design and want to figure out the right center line and mark the locations for the dominoes. I've drawn two lines touching the corners on either side of the herringbone pattern and placed my center line in between those lines. Now, gluing this bar together did not go according to plan. I had a time lapse set up to record it, but it failed, and maybe for the better. There are a lot of separate pieces that need to be in the right place in a short amount of time, and the glue stress got the better hold of me. Luckily, there were some friends helping out and it turned out alright. After gluing this top, it was a bit cupped, so I've made the inside wet and clamped it down on a flat surface. Here I'm adding a last piece for a corner where I wouldn't be able to fit a domino. I would risk having the domino become visible when cutting the bar top to its final dimensions, so I chose to glue this piece after the initial glue up was already done. I've elevated the workpiece and I'm gluing the corner cold on there, and I'm applying pressure using a wedge. So I'm not proud of this part, but I still like to include it in the video to show you how I fixed it. While setting all locations for the dominoes, I tried to make sure none would become visible after sewing this bar top to its final dimensions. I used longer dominoes for the center and shorter dominoes for the edges, and this is a spot where I must have messed up. Luckily, this is going to be mounted on one side to a wall, and it's going to be this side, so you won't see it. However, when a client ever moves, I want him to be able to also use this bar as a standalone piece, so of course I will make up for this mistake. To clean this, I'm starting off with a small router bit in a palm router. Very carefully, I'm removing the biggest pieces of visible domino at the surface. And I'm going to follow it up by cleaning the corners with a chisel. Personally, I really like fixing little things like this. Obviously, I'm going to try and avoid making mistakes, but it's really satisfying to polish a mistake like this away to as where you wouldn't be able to see it after anymore. Now, as I said before, we are really trying hard not to be able to see this after anymore, at least without knowing it's here. We will do that by matching wood color and grain pattern for our inlays with the holes we need to fill. This gets even a little more challenging as one of the holes stretches over two boards, so we'll have two separate inlays for that hole. I'm going to prepare a slot to lay a profile in. I believe in English it's generally called a C profile. Here in the Netherlands we generally call it a U profile, but potato it's the same thing. As I said, this bar will be attached to a wall on one side, but it will have a single leg on the other side. I want to provide some extra support for the side of the leg. You will see some seams that are the result of the glue up that still causes me to sometimes wake up and scream in the middle of the night. These were unfortunately some parts that couldn't be closed during gluing anymore. So I prepared some options how to address these spots and discussed it with the client. I'm preparing 3 options on some offcuts of the walnut to get the same effect as on the bar itself. I'm using walnut sanding dust with glue, black wax, and walnut sanding dust with Rubio Monocoat 2C. The combination of Rubio Monocoat and sanding dust as a filler is one I've heard of before but never used myself. So I had to do some experimenting to get it right. I had to get the paste pretty thick in order to have it not seep through the cracks and have it harden out well. If you've made it this far, then that would mean that you're interested in this kind of content. Now, I'd really appreciate it if you showed some support for this small channel by dropping a like and subscribing. It takes me a lot of time to create a video, and showing support really helps out and definitely motivates me to make more videos like this. So please like and subscribe. I'll spare you all the time it cost for sanding, but I went from 80 grit to 120 grit, and after oiling the first layer I've sanded to 150 grit before adding the second layer of oil. I'm using the budget version to spot leftover scratches from previous sanding grits by using the flashlight of my phone. This works out pretty well for me. The client chose the filler made out of the sanding dust with Rubio Monocoat 2C. I've made this mix nice and thick so it won't start running down the seam after the fact. I'll sand all the remainders out a last time before oiling the whole bar top. The spots with the oil mix in it will look much darker now compared to the wood surrounding it, but this will fade away more after the whole piece is oiled. Now this is always such a rewarding part, to put the oil finish on the project that you've been working on. I'm using Rubio Monocoat 2-component pure as a finish for this walnut bar top. I didn't include a resanding after this first layer and applying the second layer of Rubio Monocoat in this video, but I think you got the point. Also, the C profile was painted black to give it a better look than the bare steel. I'm really happy with the result, and I can tell you the client was also very excited. My biggest struggle during this project was the glue up, still recovering from that. And at the time I thought it was going to be difficult, but still somewhat underestimated it. In hindsight, I should have built a jig for it and built it up piece by piece, instead of gluing the whole thing together in one go. Luckily, everything turned out alright, and the client got what he was looking for. If you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Oh, and leave a comment if you'd like. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.